food is made for love. It's made to help us grow. It's made to remind us that everything's going to be okay. And when you weaponize your diet to tell you things you're doing wrong or to tell you how you need to be better, you're taking literally the thing that feeds you and putting it in a position where you starve yourself of its benefits. I'm doing a mindful eating reset. Why don't you join me? What's really helped me are the 5 S's. S's. Sit down, slow down, savor, simplify, and silly kitchen dancing. Is this how you work? Smiling. If you're familiar with mindful eating, you probably think of a more meditative practice where you notice the texture, the color, the taste of your food. You think about where it came from, and it's beautiful. I love that practice. But that hasn't really helped me with overeating. It hasn't helped me with feeling guilty when I do overeat. And it hasn't really changed the relationship I have to my body and the things I put in it. Resetting, checking in with that relationship is about more than nutrition. It's about the relationship we have to fuel, to sustenance, to life, and to this vehicle that we get to experience it through. This is part of my Reset and Recharge series. So if that's what you're into, subscribe to the channel, check out the other videos. For me personally, this is really about releasing the negative emotions I have around my own habits and patterns with food. Eating the thing that's like bad for me, the hyperpalatable thing, which is the thing I'm eating while I'm working. So it's a work in progress, people. It's a work in progress for me. So let's talk about the new approaches that have worked for me and I hope work for you. The first one is really obvious. Sit down. I was standing, walking around, eating like this. And then I was like, oh, I'm not doing the 5 S's, so let me sit down, slow down. Makes me a little more conscious of my snacking. Oh, goodbye, I'm gonna eat this. I work from home. Okay, my kitchen is there. I have a chair here, and I still eat standing up sometimes. If you're a go-getter, especially, chances are you're not really sitting down, physically sitting down when you're eating. And if you are sitting down, sometimes it's in your car or while you're commuting. The first S of sit down is really about landing, sitting down, pulling your plate in, noticing the fork, and then just like, or spoon, and eating your meal. In a fast food world, in a fast social media updates, fast news, fast cars, fast results at work, it's important you sit because it helps you do the next S, which is to slow down. Now, slowing down for me applies to a lot of things. It's not just the way you get your food, it's also taking time to make your food, of eating slowly. I did a Japanese wellness traditions video filmed in Japan, super cool, I will link it. And in that I talked about hara hachibu, or eating till you're 80 till you're eating full. No. Eating until you're 80% full, hara hachibu. Slowing down helps you not only taste your food more, but probably, for somebody like me, feel less guilty about it because then I can enjoy it a little more. I'm not sneaking a chocolate bar between filming YouTube videos. More importantly, scientifically, it takes you about 20 minutes to actually feel full. Which means if you eat a plate at a normal pace and you still feel hungry, instead of saying, I want more, slow down. Have a cup of water, wait 15 to 20 minutes and see if you still want that plate. And I'm not encouraging you to eat less or slower so that you can lose weight. I'm encouraging you to eat slower because it's going to help you connect your mind and your body, and have those two things be aligned so you can feel better, so you can be more connected to yourself and show up bigger in the world around you. And let's not forget one of the best reasons to slow down. It's to savor, the third S, to really enjoy the taste. And this is something I personally struggle with. I have a real intense sweet tooth. I eat chocolate literally pretty much every day. And if it's not chocolate, it's something similar. I love sweets, but I often feel bad about eating them. And so I don't let myself savor them. And again, I'm not telling you to savor the flavor so that you can eat less and be skinnier or whatever. I'm telling you to savor it because eating is an act of self-love. Think of like the Italian grandma who brings this beautiful plate of food to the table and how loved it makes you feel. You can feel that way every time you eat, whether you're alone or with your Italian grandma or your Japanese grandma. Food is about love. And when you let yourself savor the flavors, savor the experience, the company, the atmosphere, you let that love in. You let it nourish you more than physically, but mentally and emotionally. This idea of savoring for me is really at the core of why we get disconnected from our food and why diet culture is such crap, because food is made for love. It's made to help us grow. It's made to remind us that everything's going to be okay. And when you weaponize your diet to tell you things you're doing wrong or to tell you how you need to be better, you're taking literally the thing that feeds you and putting it in a position where you starve yourself of its benefits. And that sucks more than stale Cheetos or cold tea. So then the question is, how? How do we do these things? How do we savor? How do we slow down? Which brings me to the fourth S of simplify. When it comes to simplifying food and eating, it really comes down to two simple things. Number one, the actual thing you're eating, and number two, how you're eating it. How you're eating it. So let's look at food. Obviously, hyper palatable things, the things I love, like peanut butter cups and Snickers, there are a lot of things that are engineered, literally engineered to make you want them. They have labels you have a hard time reading, they're hard to pronounce, but when you can kind of like get off the drug of like food crack and come back to whole foods, whole ingredients, you have a simplified relationship with food. You know everything that's going into your body. It makes you feel like you have more control. You feel more informed and more empowered. Taking the time to eat whole ingredients has actually been one of the most helpful things in resetting my relationship to food and mindful eating, because it's like I will sit down, and I'll chop some vegetables and I'll notice the color of the bell peppers and I'll put them in my salad, and then I'll be more connected to it and I taste that sweetness and that zest more. And it helps me do the second part of simplifying, which is the context of actually having my meal as my meal. Not as my TV time, not as scrolling my phone while I put things in my mouth, not as driving and eating time. Meal time is meal time. That's it. Think of it this way. We have 5 senses, and we're so used to being overstimulated that we will have like food going in where one thing is stimulated, and we forget our food can also be seen and heard and smelled. And we just focus on the taste, and then our eyes are on a screen and our ears are on the TV, and it's all just totally scattered. So come back to what's in front of you, to your taste, to the sound.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
No.
Okay.
Okay, talk to you later. And then, of course, when you do those 4 S's, you end up naturally doing the 5th one. Silly kitchen dancing. No. Now, originally they say to smile between bites because it gives you time to figure out if you're full or not. Personally, I think that's BS. But if you do the other 4 S's, you will naturally do the 5th, which is to smile. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.